really excited to be able to do that. I feel like the more I try to control it, the less I am able to be inspired. So my work with myself is really just letting go of thinking about what I'm going to say next or thinking about a certain situation. I just kind of want to find solutions, and when they pop in my head, I just communicate it. That should be your approach to this work. Actually, it's this idea of letting go. It's really not easy, because we are taught to find solutions in 3D world, and switching that to, here's my problem, I don't know what to do, I'm listening for communication on what to do. This switch is very hard. When we have any kind of problems, relationship problems or money problems, health problems, we go to 3D for solutions. And many times 5D takes a step back when we do that. And it will always take a step back when we do that. So remember, the reason we are doing this work, the reason we're journaling every day, we're doing the 60-day challenge as a group right now, and since June 25th, I believe, since the new moon. The reason we're doing this, it's because your input is constantly required. What I find more and more as I'm talking to people is that everybody is kind of like in a car without driving the car. This is how they live their lives. That's like saying, whatever happens, happens. That's like getting behind a wheel with no direction. You don't know where you're gonna get. You don't know where you're gonna go. And this analogy seems crazy to me. The fact that you're gonna put this time and effort into sitting in the car and driving the car with no navigation whatsoever. Just when I'm tired by the end of today, I guess I will park wherever I am, wherever I get. Who knows how far I'm gonna get today? I don't know. I don't have a plan. I'm not working towards any goal. We'll see what distracts me. We'll see if I turn on the news and, get upset about something. We'll see how my boyfriend reacts, etc. There's no direction. And whoever wants to listen to me and work with me and follow along, I gotta tell you, having a direction, having goals, having something to look forward to and work towards is absolutely required if you want to have a good life. Otherwise, all your energy will be spent on survival mode. Even if you're not doing anything, even if you're unemployed, even if you're sitting at home, the system itself, the 3D itself, will divert and still use your energy. Because you're thinking, I'm not working right now, I'm relaxing. You're not relaxing. Your mind is not relaxed. I guarantee you 95% of people who are unemployed and sitting at home or retired sitting at home, they're not relaxing. So unless you have something to look forward to, that's why many people in retirement, people who retire well, they have set schedules in their retirement, whether it's like Tuesday I golf, Wednesday I see my grandkids, etc., because you got to have these goals of doing X and Y and Z in your life. Otherwise, don't come in here and say, I've been exhausted. I don't know, why am I so exhausted? I want to do the 60-day challenge, but every day I got something else to do. Or, I find myself, I'm too busy with something. So we're doing the 60-day challenge as a group. We started, this is actually the first time we're doing it as a group in 2 years. We started on June 25th, which is the new moon. On my Facebook group, we have 39 women who signed up. And I am telling you this, my challenge is sectioned into 5 categories. And the categories are money, love, relationships, health, and life in general. And it's not just the entries for those days. I want you guys who are doing this work with me to pay the most attention to dreams and 3D happenings while we're doing this as a group. Why? Because those tabs, okay? What happens there is the energy, the combined energy of the group, which is evident in the 92 comments for accountability that I saw this morning. We're only on day 8 today. It's so powerful that people are having these experiences, these new dreams, these new feelings, these new memories come up. And it's very important that you pay attention to your dreams, that you log your dreams, and that I told everybody to make a separate column. And in that column to put, what limiting belief about me specifically is this dream revealing to me? What limiting belief? specifically for me. Because if I have a dream about X and Y and Z, that would be different than if you have the exact same dream. The exact same dream will have a different meaning from me to you. And what I want to see, what I want to come up, and what I want to encourage, it doesn't matter what dream I have. It doesn't matter it's a good dream, it's a bad dream. I want to log on my interpretation of the limiting belief I see between my personality, my traumas, everybody kind of knows what they are, and the dream. Please log it. You have to, you should really have one of these almost every day. It's not going to be every single day. So I told you guys you can't eat before sleep. Last night I did. I ate like half an hour. I ate like a bowl of chia seeds with yogurt. And I'm telling you, my dreams were like banal and they were not meaningful at all. And, you know, I woke up like I felt bloated, my stomach. So if you make your body be busy digesting when you're sleeping, your dreams won't count. I've told you this maybe like 25 to 50 times already in this work, and I want to make sure you know. If you're saying, I don't dream when I don't dream, my dreams don't mean anything, it's the hygiene of your 3D environment. If you watch reels and if you are on Instagram, or if you eat before sleep, like 2-3 hours before sleep, eating should be done 3 to 4 hours before sleep. Internet should not be looked at least 1 hour before you sleep. The same with TV if you want to have meaningful dreams. So if this is too much, too complicated for you, too much of a discipline, then don't expect to be able to tap into 5D. Then just live your life the way you live your life, and don't come on this lives, on the podcasts, or leaving comments everywhere saying why is it's not working out for you. Because this practice is not easy. It requires a lot of discipline. So it just, you have to really think about what is it that you want most in life. You want most to be able to be left alone for your mind to drift wherever it wants to go, i.e. food, TV, whatever, or do you the spirit, want to be in control? Those are the question. Yeah, you can read, but don't read graphic novels about crime. You know, you can read, depends what you read. I'm gonna start reading a testimonial right now that I got yesterday, and I didn't get a chance to reply to the screen. If you send me a testimonial, guys, I get quite a few emails, and if I'm not able to reply to you, just know that I do read all of them, and I take sort of what would benefit the group and communicate it after. So this queen says, hi Mona, I honestly can't believe she's also doing the 60-day challenge. I honestly can't really believe I'm writing this. I've been watching your videos every day for months and months now. Thank you. Big stalker vibes, she says. I have missed the last couple of your lives, but for an amazing reason. I emailed you a few weeks back saying my intention was to move to New York with my art business. Over time, while I really worked out in my heart what I desired, I realized that I wanted to be an artist, not to pursue my art kit business. I had a lot of limiting beliefs around being able to make it as an artist, obviously soaked up from the collective, that I never really considered this a possibility. After practices that calmed my nervous system, I knew in my heart this was what I wanted to do and that I could do. And for about 1 to 2 months, I worked on these limiting beliefs and on being aware of thoughts that contradicted my new story, that I was a full-time successful artist moving to New York. I would tell people that didn't know me that I was an artist. Things like that. I told my parents that this was what I wanted. Saying it to specific people I believe was very instrumental in making this manifest for me. It's funny also how this will create more encouragement in your environment. Parenthesis here, that's only if people are supportive of you. Be very careful who you tell your dreams to. I had only been taking 1 day of substitute work every 2 weeks to earn bare minimum for food and gas and to give me time to paint and relax. I know this is a privilege to be able to do. She lives with her parents, but it was as if the universe, my heart, was pulling me away from it. So I stopped taking work altogether and promised myself I would not go back. Though it was a sacrifice on some things I am fond of, beauty treatments, clothes, etc., I decided I would rather be flat broke and painting and happy every day. This is what it means to choose yourself. I feel that this certainty and willingness to sacrifice every attachment was another big key to the manifestation. I have told you before about my small manifestation of an apartment and jobs sourced by strange chance through a family friend in New York. Even though this was encouraging stepping stone, it still didn't feel right. She's giving back things that are not exactly what she asked for. Anyways, on June 17th, I posted an artwork I had finished that day, my TikTok page, without thinking anything of it. It was an art piece that came from the heart. That day, I started my application for unemployment checks, but I didn't have enough information to actually send it. So I say I would complete it the day after. I posted a TikTok that night, and the next morning, it had completely blown up with 600,000 views or likes. My TikTok page is called this. I will look at your TikTok page, Queen. I received countless requests for prints, so I posted them to my website to buy and drove to the print shop to have them make prints. Long story short, I have over 9,000 euros in print sales in 2 weeks, and both originals have sold as well. So then she continues saying, my first art teacher told me I painted too tiny to win any art competition. So as she's doing this, she's remembering all the reasons why she hasn't made it yet, right? This painting, however, she says was tiny and quick to complete. It goes to show the connection to others, what is possible when you stay true to yourself and sort of reject others' ideas. Mona, I cannot thank you enough for sharing your wisdom. Thank you. And then she's saying, if you like my art and wish to commission anything in the future, it's yours. Even when my art is famous and selling for millions, you will never pay a cent. I'm reading this as a testimonial, so we have it on file. Queen, I'm so happy for you. I will check out your art. I will repost your video as well when I get a chance later today or tomorrow. Congratulations. I really like this story. There's a few threads in the story that I want you guys to pay attention. Number one is she really had to go back to what she really wanted to do. Because initially she said, I want to sell art kits because she's an artsy person. Ask yourself, is the goal really my ultimate goal? Or is my goal just a stepping stone? Or is my goal kind of tangent to what I'm good at, but not really what's in my heart? So ask yourself that. Number two, she was willing to go all in. So she actually quit her part-time job of teaching or supplying. She looked like she was a supply teacher. And she gave everything to this one thing. Then number three, she kept working throughout on her limiting belief. Who told me that I could not be an artist? Then she relied on supportive people. It sounds from the story because she's living with her parents, or her parents are very supportive of what she wants to do. But if who's around you doesn't believe in your dreams, is not supportive, do not tell them, because their energy that they're adding into it matters. So I also told you guys, other than the dreams and recording 3D, and remember what you're doing in this 60-day challenge this round is just planting. So while some things will unfold now, some things that you write will unfold later. I want you to save this version of the 60-day challenge and keep it as a treasure once you complete it. Please, if you committed to complete it, 39 people committed, you need to complete it. Because I promise you, a year from now, you'll open this exact file, and more likely than not, you will see how many things that you wrote there came true, how many limiting beliefs that came in your dreams you overcame if you put in the work, or how many you didn't overcome, but you now know that they're there. So I want you to treat this very seriously. But then I also told you that people will most likely reach out to you from your past while you're doing this challenge, just because of the energy of the challenge. Whoever's reaching out to you, okay, I had 2 people reach out to me that I haven't spoken to since 2018 and 2021 respectively. And one of them I just ran into, but another one just popped on my phone. And I gotta tell you, I sat with myself and I asked myself, why is this happening? Not what they said, who cares, right? I'm not interested in these people. What is it that while I'm in this sacred energetic space between June 25th and August 25th, why is it that these people are popping up? What is the meaning of it? I'm asking the universe, I'm asking God, I'm asking myself. I want to my brain, my conscious mind, to comprehend what's in the subconscious that would say, hey, the person you were with, you were when you knew this other person, what is it about her that you need to resolve? That's what you have to ask yourself. And this is not necessarily romantic connections. This could be anyone that pops into your life while you're doing this challenge. Pay very close attention, because that says something about you that you need to learn. So I hope I'm very clear on that. And after I posted that about the people, I got several comments saying, oh yeah, I heard from this person, reached out to me on LinkedIn just yesterday. Or this person, or my aunt that I haven't talked to in 3 years just called me, and what have you. So you gotta pay attention who the person is in relation to you. Who were you when you were involved with this person, or when you were around this person? Maybe it was in your childhood, maybe you're involved romantically. What is it that's still there that you haven't resolved? That's where you have to focus. Okay? So that's where we are. Let me read some of the things that popped up just to help you with how you have to look at it, how you have to interpret it. And I think this will be beneficial even if you're not doing the challenge. I have a lot. So somebody in my group, day 3 done. When we were at day 3, we're day 8 now. Got a job offer after 20 years out of the workforce. The same person put a comment today. Today is like day 8, and she got another job offer. So she got like 2 job offers in 8 days after 20 years out of the workforce, just as she was doing this challenge. I find that like unbelievably good. Somebody else says, just in the first couple of days, got the keys to my new house. I was excited, and I found $500, feeling great. How do you find $500? That's what I want to know. I got a scratch ticket today. I won $200. I put it in there. But whatever. These are small things, but like, how do you find it? Let's see what else we have here. Somebody else says, day 3, I have a revelation to cut certain people from life. And I started cleaning my social media 100%. I tell you guys this throughout my videos, throughout my lives all the time. You always have to clean out the past. And now the past, unfortunately, with all this technology and everything, now the past is everywhere with us. It's on our phone, right? Text messages from 2 years ago, from 3 years ago. Delete everything. Guys, you only need the history with, like, I don't even think you need any texting history. But, like, yeah, I have texting history with my husband because I'm like, I don't know, I just don't delete it. But it's not that I keep it for a specific reason. It's not like I go back on it to read it. Or with my daughter, or with it. It's nothing relevant. But if you have text messages that are full of emotion, full of back and forth, all of that you need to cut. Okay, you need to cut. You need to delete certain pictures from social media that reminds you of a certain, even if it's an amazing picture of you, reminds you of a moment of pain. Okay, you took a very artistic picture on top of a mountain in which you said a very deep quote about heartbreak. Delete it, because you're going through a breakup. Just delete it. Delete it. It doesn't help anyone. What else? Somebody else says about people in life, when I said that you will, people reach out to you. She says, wow, I didn't even realize, but he has so far 2 people who I have not talked to in over 10 years added me on Facebook. 10 years. And 1 friend who I haven't seen in over a year sent a text. So I want this person, this queen, to sort of sit with herself and be like, who was I 10 years ago when I was around those 2 people? And this friend that I haven't talked to in a year, why haven't I spoken to them in a year? Is this person really a friend? Is 3D trying to rattle me through this friend? Or is this friend someone that I must forgive, who must forgive me? What has transpired? I don't know the situation. But always bring it back to yourself. See it as an observer of your own life as to why things are happening now while you're doing the challenge. And I'm talking about people who are doing the challenge. Then I have something else. day 6 and 7, this queen says, I haven't posted because since the day of the new moon, I have been varying stages of angry. It is affecting my meditation. And then another queen replies to her, I have been feeling super emotional since we started, highs and lows. And then the third queen says, this seems to be like a commonality. I saw another post saying the same. I'm also semi-emotional and angry. Perhaps it is the new breakthroughs. I gotta tell you, there are no ends to which your brain won't go to in order to preserve status quo. Okay? What this work that we're doing now, this energetic shift with the meditation, with the group energy, with the pushing forward, what you're doing is you're rattling the status quo to a degree that you probably haven't rattled it before. So the emotional highs and lows, the angerness, these are all showing you everywhere where you are stagnant that your brain wants to keep you stagnant in. Remember the brain, I can't stress this enough. The brain doesn't want to change anything, doesn't want you to do any energetic work, doesn't want you to change your mind about anything. It's very scared of not knowing what's going to happen when you become a different person. Your ego at the same time does not want to be destroyed because your ego is an energetic construct that's fighting for its survival. It doesn't want to be replaced by another ego. Why would it? It wants to survive, okay? So in order for you to do this work in the most efficient way, you have to see yourself as the spirit and the will enforcing your will, your desires, your goals upon a programmed system, upon a computer system. So if I'm a programmer and I sit down in front of a computer and I see myself and I see the code and I understand the code, first I have to understand the code. I have to open the file. I have to even look and I have to see what's there. In order to change anything, how can I do it if I'm not looking? I'm looking. So now I'm trying to make some changes to the code. The code gives me an error message, which would be anger or emotion or what have you. Obviously, it's going to give me it doesn't want to be changed. It doesn't want to do that. So I have to understand where are the errors in this code that are provoking this kind of instances inside of me, right? So right now, because we're doing energy work, the observer is not only conscious. There is a subconscious observer to what you're doing. So when you're programming this, when we're doing our meditation, when we're accessing the sheet itself, which I told you is inspired work, and I'm 100% going to stand behind this idea that it has its own energetic power, even though I don't advertise it that way or anything, because I don't want to sound woo-woo, but I know it has it. What happens is it accesses the subconscious, and the subconscious becomes an observer also. So it's not just I'm consciously observing that I'm getting angry about, no, you have two layers of observation now. You have an energetic layer and you have a conscious layer. And the subconscious can't speak through your mouth, but it will speak via your feelings, via what you feel you should do, via how rattled certain situations make you feel, or how wonderful certain situations make you feel. Like if you're in a very nice setting, natural setting, and you're admiring a waterfall, that feeling inside of you might be totally different than it would have been when you were stressed out, etc. So all of these are subconscious responses as an observer to the work that you're doing. And I want you to understand things will just be different over this next few days, few weeks that we're doing this together. That's why I want you to stay engaged, stay connected. And if you're angry, it doesn't matter what you're feeling. What matters is that you do your best to understand how that applies to who you are. Ask to be made better. Ask for the anger to be cleared, or for you to be shown why is it that you're feeling this way. You're feeling angry because now the subconscious is observing your life does not match what your spirit is trying to enforce right now, the will of the spirit, right? So immediately this whole anger will come because you realize I'm 25, 30, 45, 50, and I am a very different person than what's going on in my life. I might be a mother without children. I might be an artist who's worked in finance, who's dedicated, who's just been in survival. I might be, so all of this is the who you are not matching the life that you have. So obviously it's going to be a lot of cognitive dissonance in your mind, a lot of feelings that are like, oh, wait a second, I am Mona, but I feel like I'm living somebody else's life because I don't feel like this should have been my life, kind of thing. And the worst thing you can do, there's two worst things you can do. One, ignore that feeling and not understand it. And two, expect that your life will change with no work on your part. Okay? With no work, or that you can make a significant leap from the life of this person to the life of this person. It's not that you're a mother without children, but tomorrow you're going to meet the love of your life. You're going to be engaged in 3 months and you're going to be pregnant in 3 more months. Like all of this stuff, that the idea that quickly something will shift, there's always that promise. But the thing is, if you bring the same person who was kept, let's say, single, who was kept unemployed, who was all these years, and you bring her and you give her the opportunity, how do you know you haven't already been given these opportunities? If you met them as the same person, you didn't even recognize them as opportunities. You may have met a guy that you dismissed, like I'm going to read now in the relationship. It is like a question that I received. You're not able to handle the process with a clear mind and a clear heart. And I'm going to exemplify that. But I want to just finish with the questions that came out of the 60-day challenge. So I love that we have this thread of accountability where people can just leave their thoughts on how it's going so far. Then I manifested a new job, this other queen says, and I've been doing the entries, but try with seeing my schedule change. I realize my energy has been very low for a while, so I'm taking some actions that are more in alignment with my vision. I have steps that I feel are going to get locked in soon, and I have been slowly gaining more energy. My dreams are wild. I have a relationship that is almost constant struggle, mostly because of my self-worth. And the dream I had last night highlighted how crazy the shift to have that relationship would be. My subconscious mind is a horror movie that I'm trying to live in, and I'm trying to live in a keeping up with the Kardashian situation. So she's saying my subconscious mind is in a horror movie, and I'm trying to live in a keep up with the Kardashian situation. So when I get those things, I feel gaslit and like they can't be serious. So that's exactly what I was saying before. She basically will sabotage every opportunity, and she's seeing that she's doing that because it doesn't match the person that she thinks she is, the subconscious. So you see the way she's putting it, like she's distancing herself, but it's still a struggle. Like she's saying, my subconscious has low self-worth. I have low self-worth. Now you would think if I identify that I have low self-worth, I can just switch to having high self-worth, and what's the problem? And now I'm gonna behave completely different. But it doesn't work that way, right? It doesn't work that way. It's not just look in the mirror, oh, you're beautiful, you're wonderful, it's a lot of work around us. You have to be very serious about this work that you're doing. So she's saying, even though some good things happening in my life, like, situations like keeping up in the Kardashians, I'm in a horror movie. Identifying this is a huge step. So I don't want you to diminish this, queen, like just being able to identify this. And changing it, of course, is individual, and it depends on your own individual traumas. It depends what's in your mind. It depends you're there. But I want you to keep going. So now that I've identified that my subconscious is a nightmare, pen and paper, right? Like I'm always about pen and paper. Guys, there's nothing like pen and paper. Pen and paper to journal something that I can just burn once I've processed it. I can burn ideas from my parents, A, B, C, and D, ideas from my first relationship, heartbreak, this is what it taught me. I cannot trust men. I cannot be very, very honest when you put this stuff. Then how can I write this in exact reverse? Everything that you've internalized that has made your subconscious, you're the one who has to unpack this. Or you have to work with somebody, but on a consistent basis to unpack this. And once you do this, it's very important you reverse them right away. So let's say I can never trust a man. Like, reverse it. It's not just saying, now I trust men and I'm going to meet a very trustworthy man. Reversing it is, stop watching all the videos that are telling you how horrible men are, how bad the economic situation is, how young people are overworked, they're never going to be able to buy a house. Stop watching all of this. What you internalize, you can repeat and parrot, oh, I'm loved, I'm wanted, and I'm promoted. If all you're watching is negative relationship content, like it's on most women's FYP, if all you're watching is the news on the economy, this is a problem, guys. It's a problem. So you reverse it. Yeah, you start feeling love, you start feeling appreciated. Amplify every moment of goodness that you can find in your life. So somebody paid you a compliment today. Wow, you're so pretty, or you're nice, or you smell nice, or what perfume is that? Amplify it in your head, amplify it, magnify it, because you sure magnifying all the bad things you hear in the news, in the media, even if not consciously, subconsciously, I guarantee you, you're magnifying it and amplifying it. So I want you to purposely amplify everything, little good thing that happens in 3D about yourself. That's sort of how you increase and you change from a nightmare subconscious to something that you feel you are worthy of. But you do this step by step. You can't do this in a day. You can't do this in a week. You have to do it step by step. And you know what you're going to find along the way? You're going to default back many times. Okay, this is what happened to Wizard Liz, right? When she defaulted to the cultural centralization of men that she's observed our whole life, and she did this exact thing without knowing in her relationship. So we see even people who are working to become somebody else. That becoming somebody else is never permanent. That default programming is never erased. If you want to keep it permanently, if you like who you are now, like I like who I am now, it's daily work to stay here. And I want to be better. I want to be more tolerant. I want to be more patient. I want to be more giving. I want to be more kind. But I can't default back. I can't default back. And I have to catch myself every time I do. It's a game of awareness if I want to stay here or evolve. Otherwise, if I'm passive, I'll just devolve. And the life 3D will match me eventually. Might not match me first day, but it will eventually. Vanny says, I stopped listening to true crime because of you. 100%. Oh my God. When I was in my early 20s, I was in uni. I used to enjoy all these crime books, and I read, they made a movie now about it, but back then it was just the books, about Jack Reacher. I don't know. I think Tom Cruise played him. Man, those novels, it was a series of like 10 or 11 novels written by this guy. I can't remember his name now. But it was about this one lone Samaritan hero, that walks into this really horrible situations and stuff. It completely ruined every piece of naivete and innocence I had inside of me. I'm so sorry I read them. So believe me, the world will take from you when you don't even realize it's taken from you and where. Let me, I feel like I talked a lot. I want to see if there's anything. Hello, Queens. My mind has been processing random insults thrown my way today. Never done. I don't know how I can answer that. Like, why would so many random insults be thrown at you today? Is it by your partner? Is it by, depends, right? This is very situation dependent, how much they matter. If it's by your partner, it's terrible, right? It's the fact that they may, if you're not with the right partner as you change, the situation between you two will get very bad, right? Because it will be not that it will get very bad, it will be more evident to you. It will have more of an impact on you, whatever's not working. Okay, I want to make sure we have time for everything today. I might have to stay a few minutes over, which is fine because I didn't come on Monday. So this is from the same queen who says, on day 3, I received a job offer, even though I've been a homemaker for 20 years. And today, on day 6, I receive a second job offer, even better than the one from day 3. So hopefully you didn't take one from day 3. I got something else. Day 7, the screen says, today I channel my anger into writing and planning for my blog. My intention with this round of the 60-day challenge was to develop my creative talents this summer. And in some ways, the universe put so many things in my path that have triggered me this month as to push me towards my writing and creative goals. Also, I feel like in this round of the challenge, exposed something that might be a bit of a heavy topic. It made me see all the instances of how jealous my mother can get whenever I progress in life, or literally anything good happens in my life, which in turn leads to her creating crises and problems for the whole family. I know Mona always says not to tell people our goals, but should we also hide our accomplishments from people if it triggers them so much? So look, guys, whoever we have, you can choose your friends, but you don't choose your family. And if this was a friend, I would say just cut them off immediately if you feel that, it's affecting you like this, or their jealousy. But what do you do in case it's your sister, in case it's your mother, in case you really can't cut them off for other reasons? And first of all, I want you guys to understand that this person who is most against the changes that you're making in your life could be the person who should be the closest person to you. It could be your kids. It could be your spouse. It could be your mother, like in this case. It could be absolutely anybody. And sometimes they don't even do it out of bad intention. They just don't want anything changed in your life. Imagine a mother who's raised a daughter to be a doctor, and as you're going through medical school, you all of a sudden tell her you want to paint. She's gonna put a huge energetic signature negative against the painting and against what you want to do, right? Because she worked so hard to see you turn a certain way. In this case, if you feel like your mom is always jealous of you, always, definitely telling her less is like, why? You don't need to share your accomplishment unless they're obvious. I even tell you guys, I don't understand those people who get online and say, this month I made like 20,000, I made like $30,000. Like, why are you telling people this? Like, why do you have the need to tell everybody everything that has happened, everything, and if you know that your mother is jealous of you, why is it that I'm not understanding? The only thing that you would need to communicate is things that are evident. Hey, mom, I got engaged because I have a ring on my finger, and be prepared if you feel there's jealousy and stuff. But I feel like people just share too much about what's going on in their lives, too much. Rosie, no, we're not Wednesdays instead of Monday. It's just that this week was long weekend in Canada, so I wasn't around on Monday. That's why we did it then. We did it now, sorry. I want to see what else I wanted to read other than this topic. If you guys have more questions on the 60-day challenge specifically, if you're part of my group, let me know now. But I want to talk a little bit about a couple of other topics, specifically this one. I told you guys I'm part of Dr. Joe's meditation groups and what have you, couple of them. And sometimes I read what people post there, so this is not a question for me. But this person says, I would really appreciate some help. I was doing Dr. Joe's meditations on and off for around 3 years. Last year I tried ayahuasca and had a very challenging experience. I went into a very dark place that I can only say was associated with death. There was no corresponding sense of redemption or light. Since then, I have bouts of terrific anxiety and depression. I keep seeing this horrible empty place. I want to go back into meditation, but whenever I try, I seem to go back to that dark place. Even the music that's in the meditation can make me feel anxious. Whenever I watch one of Dr. Joe's testimonial, I feel inspired to try again. I think if it worked for other people, surely it can work for me. But what if it's something different to a physical ailment? Should I sit in the darkness and push on through? Or have I opened myself up to some portal that will take more than meditation to close? So I'm going to tell you something. If you have done this in conjunction with, let's say, what this person is saying, doing ayahuasca or something, and you went to a dark place, you unfortunately need to stop doing this work that you're doing with Dr. Joe, right? Because this is why I've never tried any drug. At some point, I was considering trying ayahuasca just because it's like the tea from the bark of a tree. But I thought about this exact thing. What if where I'm at, because you have to face what you see. What if I see something I don't like? What am I going to do with that? And think about, in our head, we can barely deal with the memories of this life, let alone if you have to deal with the memories of unexplainable experiences, of past lives, of all these things that people seem so interested in, but they cannot even handle. They have problems in this life. Like he's saying, I'm doing my meditation to achieve something, to get somewhere. He's not saying exactly what. But he's saying, I'm encouraged when I hear other people's testimonials. Means I want to get something from this work. I want to meditate to get X and Y and Z. That's why I'm doing it. So now he's done this ayahuasca thing. He's got in a really bad place. He's having nightmares about it. And he's trying to do Dr. Jordan meditation still. You should stop. If this is your case, any association that your brain makes that way, it's very difficult to undo. Very difficult. So if this was something that happened to me, I would immediately stop doing this kind of work. I would look maybe for something more religious in my religion, or I would look for something more nature, more spiritual in different ways, and I would cut out anything that was associated with that negative experience. So you immediately, if you had a very bad heartbreak, a very emotional job loss, you need to disassociate yourself from anything that brings that up as a trigger to you. I want everybody to just remember to do this in any life circumstance. Even a little thing, that's why I told you, give all the clothes away. All the clothes away that you had in a moment of depression, in a moment of heartbreak, etc. Aliza, send me an email, please, Queen. If you bought the challenge, my email is in the challenge. Send me an email, and I have somebody who's checking everyone's membership, so you might already be a member. It will send you the link. What is your view on spell work? Spell work depends who does it. Depends with what intention, has effects. Now, if you do it the wrong way, it have effects that are against you. I don't do any of that stuff. It works. I'm going to tell you it works. Not necessarily it works in the way you want it to work. It works in some way. Results not guaranteed. Do you have any spiritual idea or knowledge on transgender people? Spiritually, you definitely can come in this world in the wrong body. I'm speaking from a spiritual, I'm not going to speak on it politically or anything like that. You definitely can. The idea, though, is that you can also, in your life, be heavily influenced by society. So this is obvious in, the fact that, let's say, people start having sex a lot earlier in certain environments than in other environments, or a lot more people try drugs in certain environments than in other environments. So the idea is every single person that have that feeling, does it mean they're in the wrong body? That's really the spiritual question. And the answer has to be not 100%. Just like in anything else, it's not 100%. This is why some people detransition. So, but from a spiritual perspective, it's very possible that it's not that it's the wrong body. It's let's say something happened along the way, or somebody else interfered with the decision that you made to take a body, or unfortunately, you have to learn your spiritual lesson in this body. Like this lifetime, you have to be a woman. To learn A, B, C, who knows, maybe to go through a hard pregnancy, to do this. You may have wanted a male body, your spirit, but it didn't happen, or the other way around, right? So part of it is us, and part of it, we're co-creators. We're co-creators. We don't have like the final say in anything. That's what I mean when I say we don't control life and death. Yeah. So maybe their work is spiritually only. I'm not talking about what people should be allowed to do in society. Maybe the work is they have to endure life in a body. If we're going spiritually, if we're talking about different lives, maybe there are men who abused women, who comes into a woman's body to see what it's like. It's just, you know, I know when I speak these things, I realize just how unfair this incarnations are, and how, like, to our morals, to our system. So the question whether or not in 3D they should do what they want, that's a political question I'm not interested in. I'm only speaking from that perspective. So let's see. I want to, okay, so we talked about Dr. Joe and disconnecting from anything that made you feel negative at all. Like, if you're contemplating doing this experiences, there's several drugs that are available that, you know, would put you in the state. I know this is very popular with the spiritual community. If you want my opinion, this is the reason why I haven't tried anything, and I don't plan to try anything. And there's another reason, actually, subcategory of reason, is because I know now every experience that I would have would be actually my own. I wouldn't have to ask, is this just a chemical process in my brain? If I have an incredible dream, and I often have lucid dreams, not often, but 4 or 5 times a year, which is a lot, I know it's me. I know it's the energy that I'm conjuring, that I'm gathering, that I'm asking for. I know it's my insistence, and I know I'm being shown something. If I took a drug, I would have to ask myself, was it just a hallucination? Is this real? Is this a real experience? How can I stop self-sabotage? A lot of work on self, a lot of catching yourself in the act, and there has to be consequences to your self-sabotaging. Consequences you give yourself. Let's see, I wanted to read something else. Let's see, I don't remember, but it was something important I wanted to tell you guys. I don't remember it now. All right, let's talk about relationships for a couple of minutes. And the reason I want to talk about relationships all the time for a little part of my lives and my content is because relationships have such an impact into the people we become. So going through a relationship with the wrong person will change you. And so going through the relationship with the right person will also change you, just for the better. So you won't notice those changes necessarily, but you will notice if you've devolved, if your heart is weak, if your heart is no longer in the right place. So who you associate with, the process that you employ for dating, all of these are extremely important to your overall success in life and who you allow in your life. Now, of course, everybody can meet the wrong person. The idea is, if you're a person in awareness, is how long does it take you to determine that they're the wrong person, and how strong are you in your ability to cut off a situation that's not in your best interest. That's where the challenge is. Because most people, for some reason, don't seem to be able to. So this person says, matched on an app. We chatted on the app for a couple of days. He is well-spoken and articulate. We switched to WhatsApp, and he immediately unmatched me on the app. I questioned him about it. His rationale made no sense, and I caught him in a couple of lies. Obviously, he was trying to hide something. And then she's saying, I need to be mindful of this. Here's the thing. Sometimes paranoia takes over our lives, okay? And this is all comes from like this negative feed on, if you're watching a certain line of thought. If you're in the process of online dating, you gotta understand, online dating is not dating. Online is the process of meeting people in person. Before you meet somebody in person, you are just a number to them. You're just a number, and that is normal. That doesn't mean they wouldn't value you. That doesn't mean they wouldn't be a good husband. That doesn't mean anything really about you. And you don't even know if you're talking to a real person. You don't know. He doesn't know. Things happen all the time. Bad experiences happen to both men and women. Everyone been catfished. Everyone been maybe matched with somebody who, they didn't feel very safe with, etc. So here's my process. This was my process. I'm not online dating, but I met my husband from online dating. I want to do the process with the minimum amount of heartbreak for myself, the minimum amount of time investment. You got to meet these people right away. So the moment I exchange a few messages with someone and I like their profile, I like their photos, they're well-spoken, they're articulate, I want to meet them before I give them my number. I don't need to move the conversation on my phone, right? You really shouldn't give a stranger your phone number. You should say, hey, you seem nice. My process on online dating, in the interest of everyone's time, is meeting over a quick coffee, 20-minute walk, whatever, not a date, just to ensure alignment of person with profile. If we like each other, we can exchange numbers and take it from there. So you are online just to meet in person. You are not online dating. Now, when I meet people for coffee, after the coffee, I either give them my number or I block them because, it's not going to be a match. But in any event, when I give somebody my number, I always say, here's my number. By the way, I unmatched you on the app because I don't want, anything to be a weird situation or anything like that. So what am I saying basically? When I unmatch, this should come from you as a woman. Unmatch them after you met them, after you exchange numbers. Unmatch them. Why? You have no reason to stay matched to them. This is a person you use the process of online app to meet. Now you unmatch them. I don't want to know if he's on the app. I don't want him to know if I'm on the app. Obviously, I'm going to continue to be on the app because I just met you. Obviously, you're going to continue to be on the app because we're just conversing for 2-3 days. The way the queen makes it sound is like he owed her his commitment. Oh my God, it was suspicious how he unmatched me. No, he got your number. He unmatched you. You have no business spying on him. He has no business spying on you. It's none of your business when he's online, and it's none of his business when you're online. It's not normal for him to close his profile because he's talking to you. You haven't even met. So I find the fact that they exchanged number and he unmatched her, I find that okay. The only thing that's not okay, in my opinion, is giving somebody your number before you meet them. I wouldn't do that. I've never done that. I always told them, sorry, my telephone number is associated with my business and I can't exchange it with strangers. But if we meet for the coffee and stuff, and if we both like each other, I'm happy to exchange numbers and take this conversation offline. Be more business-like in your interaction with these strangers online, and only give your number to the person you like, and then unmatch them. Unmatch, let go. This is part of letting go. Let go of the process. The only way you should assess a man is based on his behavior towards you. His consistency with you, what he does in order to progress the relationship. Is he asking you out? What is he doing for you? So I unmatched the person who is now my husband after I gave him my number. And then I started to assess him. How often is he contacting me? When is he asking me out? If he's with me every Friday and Saturday, and one more time on Wednesday when I didn't have my child, when we're dating, and we're talking every night, hey, listen, he doesn't have time to match with 20 other women. But even if I meet a guy in a grocery store and everything's great, this doesn't mean he's not seeing another woman, right? So, or he's not on the apps. You guys are too obsessed with watching what men do on apps, and you're only hurting yourself, your self-worth, and really you're not assessing anything. He can be on the apps all he wants. If all the money comes in our account, if he's spending all the weekends with me, if he's making me his priority, if he's doing everything for me, when would he have time for other women? That's how you should be assessing men. I find this really is both simple and easy to do. I don't think anybody can say to me, Mona, you're wrong about this. I found some guys who are reluctant to meet early on. Those are the guys with whom you're going to have problems. Because anybody who's on the app, to meet somebody, to have something going with them, to meet someone, that's why you're on the app, to meet someone for your life. Anybody who's not willing to meet right away, is wasting your time. I have no willingness to have funny banter with strangers. I have no willingness to give my time away to people I haven't met face to face. I've done it twice in my whole dating thing where I met a guy for dinner. They were both times, one was completely unattractive. I knew I couldn't touch him after like 2 weeks of back and forth, and he was really funny and sweet and smart. Second one was approximately 20 years older than he indicated. And then I was like, never again. Never again will I spend my time getting ready, getting dressed, being excited about a guy just to meet in person for a 3-hour meal, sit face to face from somebody that I know I wouldn't touch. Never again. I'm just going to invest a few messages and 20-minute coffee, which I initiate just to see you. So right now, I'm not performing for you. You're performing for me. You have to show up and be the exact person that you're saying in your profile. You know why? Because I am the exact person. I have pictures from this year, the year I was dating. I talk in my profile like I talk now. Be incredibly honest. I say what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a life partner. That's exactly what I said. If you're not willing to meet and prove that you're the person in your profile, it's a swipe. I don't know where, because I only use match.com. There was no swiping. What's the problem? That's what I mean. You have to be able to assess the guy right away. You're not prepared to meet? Sorry, that is my process. My process is to meet right away. Why? To determine alignment of person with profile. I want to know you're a real person. I want to know it's not your friend's pictures. I want to know you're not 20 years older than you say you are. Isn't this normal? Interesting. Somebody says online dating isn't dating, let alone dating exclusively. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then you gotta let go. As long as you're doing the process, I don't think there's questions on this. Yeah, this should be taught to young ladies. They should be taught to young ladies. And, you know, I have a family friend who's dating. She's in her early 20s. Like, she's 25, something like that. And the same thing. She goes for dinner, goes like, oh, the guy didn't hold the door, didn't meet her standards. She's very disappointed. I said, stop going for dinners. Like, do you even need to, like, eat? You know, like, is the purpose to meet a man is not to eat. The purpose, like, you gotta meet him first just to see, like, sense his energy, his physicality around you, how he behaves around you for a few minutes. You gotta see that before you sit down to have a meal with him. I think. Why have meals with strangers? Why are you guys so obsessed with like this high value meals? Now, if after you see them and they align with their profile, he doesn't invite you on an appropriate date, then obviously you cut him off. I don't want to date right now. First, I want to upgrade my reality better first. That's totally your choice. But see, here is you gotta be very honest about your goals, especially because you're doing the challenge. You don't want to date right now, but what is your love goal? Like, what is the love goal that you put in the 60-day challenge, for example? And if your love goal is, I want to be left alone by everyone, that's fine. But if your love goal is, I live happy monogamous relationship with my husband, let's say, then you can't write down, I don't want to date right now. Like, I'm not saying you should date. You should not say that, because you don't know when this guy's going to pop up. That's what I was talking in the beginning of this life. That you, the person you are today, with all your fears, with thinking like, I got to get better before anybody can even want me. That person is not also loved and adored at the same time. Right? You can't say I'm loved and adored in your love column, but say, first I gotta get better, then I'm gonna start dating. Also, you don't have to be actively dating. What else happened this week? Jeff Bezos got married. Yeah, I mean, I briefly saw like the whole thing, and there's a video that popped up on my feed. This woman saying, can you imagine, she was making fun of him, can you imagine leaving your loyal partner of 20 years. And can you imagine, doing this clown-like wedding? And can you imagine? And I was like, first of all, why are you judging somebody else's relationships? Understand that every time you judge, you're being judged. Okay, that's how the universe works. But more importantly, yes, I can imagine that. I can imagine people growing apart. I can imagine people being attracted to whoever they're attracted to. And I can imagine that if you have the resources to say, hey, to your husband or your wife, here's $10 billion, $20 billion, $100 billion. But I'm 60 and I have 10 more good years. 10 more, that's it. And I have $200 billion in my account. And I want to spend it with whichever woman I find attractive. I do. I can't imagine that. Like, I understand that. Do you know what I mean? And you gotta understand, this is really like doing what you want to do that's truly aligned with who you are. And I don't care if it's fair or unfair, or these are fair, unfair, morality. This is something we define. But the person he was when he started with his first wife is not the person he is today, or he was when he divorced or cheated on his wife. It's not the same person. This person the in-between person, has done immense growth. Now, his growth might not be in the direction that you think, through your perspective, he should have gone. But the man has employed tens of thousands of people, has completely shifted the way people connect with one another, we're in the age of Aquarius, right? That they tell you it's all about human connection and access to one another. So he changed the world in that way. It's same thing with Facebook and social media. The fact that we can have this conversation right now is due to someone like him who was thinking about how can I connect people to people, or products to people, or all this stuff. So all that has added immense growth into the world. It changes the person who does that. And that person, yes, it is possible that even someone's loyalty, it doesn't matter. Like, I got 10 years, man. Like, what am I going to spend my $200 billion on? They had a $50 million wedding. Well, that's the same as if a guy has $200,000 in his bank account in savings and he spends $50 on a wedding. Don't bother doing the math, because I've done it. That's what it translates to. Mona, you're ending me. You're 100% correct when you say simple, not easy work. Yeah, because you got to change your perspective on everything. All the perspectives that you have are things that most likely you haven't come to via understanding the work, understanding the world through your real self. Most likely your perspectives are based on your education and a line of thought you've been following since birth. Your parents, your educators, certain political views in your community. Most likely your perspective is from that. It doesn't come from understanding, for most people, the bigger picture. The further I get into it, the more I find I need work. Yeah. I had a couple of other testimonials, but hold on, I gotta match something. But I just don't have time for them anymore. So I will see whoever's in my group on Facebook group, whoever is following along or just enjoys my content. I'll post this on YouTube, and I will be back on Monday, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at our regular time. Let's put our hands together for the 369. I am a winner. One breath in. I am a winner. 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 I am a winner.